Doo-doo-doo-dum-dum-dum-dum. It's Gravity Falls, 'cause that's spooky too. The internet is probably loading. I'm waiting for YouTube now. Are your splines reticulated? Has chat showed up at all yet? I hope they are talking. We're almost ready to go now. The stream will begin after the high note. La 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 la. There was no high note, I'm kidding. Hello there, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation. I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director of Site 42, and welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours live in person. Yes! A subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site 42 on YouTube, TikTok, or whatever social media you are broadcasting from. I am here running a daily stream that I have run for over a year and 3.5 months, because the daily streak remains strong. And so as I have done for all that time and will continue to do until I die or something stops me, I am here to answer your queries about this dark and mysterious place of employment we call the SCP Foundation. So, whether you are a new researcher, a D-class personnel, or disposable test subjects, or an anomaly, I've been informed here at Metrocon I am not allowed to contain anybody, which is kind of our whole thing. I have been told that would be rude. Now, for those of you who are brand new to the Foundation, or maybe you took some amnestics and just forgot, the SCP Foundation is a secret organization that hides magic and monsters from the general public. Now, if you watch The Men in Black, then they are guys in suits hiding aliens. We are 10% different for copyright reasons. We are scientists in lab coats researching, and it's everything. Monsters, magic objects, cryptids, whatever it is, we secure it, we contain it, we protect it. And so, with that out of the way, a little bit of an intro, I am here for the next approximately 50 minutes to answer your burning questions. So when you raise your hand, I will come running over there to put this microphone in your face so you can talk. Who's first? You there, blue dabba-dee-dabba-die. I'm going to step over you all.
Hello, I'm Wizardmon. I'm a Digimon. What would SCP do if there were, sexist children able to go back and forth between digital world and human world? A number of Digimon who are also doing that.
Well, how would the SCP Foundation contain the Digimon universe? Very interesting. So, this is a case where I, a containment specialist, come up with special containment procedures. That's what SCP actually means, by the way, special containment procedures for this anomaly. Now, the Digimon are actually pretty easy because they're stuck in a computer. Any computer anomaly, when it's in a database, as long as it doesn't get out on the internet and ruin everything, if we can keep it on one laptop inside a Faraday cage, those things are pretty well easily contained. Now, once they come out of the computer, that's annoying. Please don't do that. Stay in your box. Furthermore, if they, what is the phrase I'm looking for? Faraday cage, box, digital entity. Oh, if they do get out on the internet, the SCP Foundation has a cadre of artificial intelligence constructs, what we call the AIC. The .AICs are typically sentient artificial intelligence that we can throw off into the internet to hopefully hunt down and delete the things that we can't contain. It gets rather messy. For further information on this, check out the Artificial Intelligence Applications Division of the SCP database. By the way, before I answer your question, 2 things I want to point out. Number 1 is that everything I'm talking about on our pataphysical narrative level. Now, let me explain pataphysical narrative levels. Now, it's 3 things. Pataphysical narrative level is when you are reading a book, you are on one level, and then the characters below you are fiction. And then if the characters below you read a book, the characters below that are fiction. And fortunately for you all, I hope, you are on the highest pataphysical narrative level, where you're real. Unfortunately, I am not so lucky. I exist on a pataphysical narrative level below my author, who is an actor, dance instructor, and some kind of douchebag. Ow! And he punishes me when I talk back. And so, when it comes to pataphysical narrative levels, why did I bring that up? Ah, yes. If you are real, then you can go to SCP Wiki on the internet. The SCP Wiki, if it is fictional to you, is a creative writing community of several thousand authors across the world in multiple languages, with over 10,000 SCPs written in English alone. Worldwide, there's thousands upon thousands of these interesting science fiction cryptids, spatial anomalies, locations you better not go to, although you kind of really want to. Some of them are very spooky, some of them are actually beneficial. And we at the SCP Foundation don't care, because our mission is to make sure that no one knows anomalies exist. So it could cure world hunger, we're still going to keep it locked in a box. Okay, you're next. I gotta come to you.
What's your favorite way you've had to contain something?
My favorite way I've had to contain something. Actually, this is great that you asked me that because I forgot the second half of your question. And it's actually coinciding with that. So, the second part of his question was, how would you deal with the digi-destined, human beings that can go in and out of the computers? So, first of all, if I can't just lock them in a box, that would be nice. If I can keep them away from any computers, that's the first thing I would do. But we do have an SCP that is actually very similar to this, and I can't remember the number right now. As I said, there's over 10,000 of these things. But we do have an anomaly that is a group of friends, 3 or 4 people, who are playing Quake, and then they never stopped playing Quake. They actually got trapped in Quake. Has anyone here ever seen the animated series Reboot? Reboot, where the games come down and then the games leave. These people do that in our world. All of a sudden, they just show up and it becomes a war zone, and they start, I don't know what the word for what is killing each other in Quake. Isn't there a word for that? Huh? Frag! Thank you, that's what I was looking for. They start fragging each other, they blow up barrels, they make everything explode, and then they leave. We found out that they did not realize they were stuck in the real world playing Quake. They felt really bad about it after all the people they murdered. See, this is why we contain the anomalies, they're dangerous. But we did enlist them as a mobile task force, so we could put them to use stopping dangerous anomalies, because when they get ganked, they can just respawn. And so hopefully we can put the Digi-Destined to work. That's how we do it. Alright, and that is how I like containing anomalies. If I can put them to work to contain other anomalies, that's a 2 for 1. The object classes of the SCP Foundation, a lot of this is going to be stream of consciousness tangents. The SCP Foundation, when we have to contain an anomaly, we have a classification system. Not for how dangerous they are. It doesn't matter if they're going to kill you or hug you, we don't care about that. We only care how hard they are to contain. So when you hear the word object class, you will traditionally hear the words safe, Euclid, and Keter. We institute what's called the box test. An object is safe if you put it in a box and it stays there. Those are our favorite. No trouble to contain. A Euclid class anomaly, if you leave it alone, it's probably going to get out. And so we have to do some more stringent protocols to get that locked down. And in Keter, we have to spend a lot of money and resources and manpower to keep that thing locked up, because it will constantly try to escape. Some Keters are completely uncontained, and all we can do is mitigate the damage, go out in the field, and amnesticize them. We have drugs that make you forget instead of flashy things, because again, Men in Black, but 10% different for copyrights. And so the amnestics do the job of making sure everyone forgets after we do not successfully contain them. You will all be amnesticized on your way out. Don't worry, it'll be fine. All right, who's got the next question? Hands. Hand.
Is there lots of testing involved?
There is so much testing involved. Is that a GLaDOS? Is it? Yes, GLaDOS. Now, GLaDOS specifically we would put in a box because anomalous AI. Everything Cave Johnson made is very dangerous and would go in a box. I think Aperture Science is a nice box. It all just stays in there. But yes, we do have our own testing, which is why we have our D-Class personnel. D-Class personnel in these nice, adorable orange jumpsuits are, at first, farmed from death row inmates. You know, no one's gonna miss them. And then, it turns out, if you do the math, there's not actually that many death row inmates in the world. And so we had to start finding other sources of disposable class. Now, a good course was, unfortunately, homeless people, a little less ethical. People got a little mad about that, but you know, a dark, secretive organization, you're gonna crack a couple eggs here and there. And then when the homeless people weren't enough, well, very specifically, there are some anomalies, like SCP, I believe it's 956, which is codenamed the Child Breaker. The Child Breaker is a piñata that is alive, and it is very angry about what happens to piñatas. And so SCP-956, if it stares at a child, the child becomes very rigid and fragile. And the child breaker will wander over and headbutt them until the child breaks. That's why it's called that. And then the candy comes out. We can't store that one near a school. But, of course, if we want to test the child breaker, then we need Child D class, which is where the war orphans come in. Or, as we colloquially call them, warphans. Cute nicknames for everything. Okay, on that note, next question, please. Yes. Get me off topic, anything except the orphans.
Who do you think Robert Clef is?
Oh, Clef! He's a dick! Dr. Alto Clef of the SCP Foundation is one of what we would call our hero characters. One of the main, well-known researchers. Dr. Alto Clef, fellow Hawaiian shirt connoisseur, used to be an agent of the Global Occult Coalition. Now, in the SCP universe, we have multiple what we call groups of interest, or GOIs. And they are other groups that have other intentions for the anomalous. The SCP Foundation, we want to keep everything locked in. We want to keep everything secret. The Global Occult Coalition is a little more murdery about the SCPs. The Global Occult Coalition, which is actually run by the United Nations, they've decided that what anomalies they cannot weaponize for their own purposes, they are going to destroy them. You know, it saves on containment costs, but unfortunately for them, and as we told them and they didn't listen, certain anomalies react unpredictably to being destroyed. And the most novel example would be SCP-1609, known as the chair. 1609 is a chair, and it was a very nice chair. It was a teleporting chair that could sense if you were sleepy and tired and needed to sit down, and it would just teleport to you so you could have a nice sit. Very nice anomaly, of course. As I said, nice anomalies still have to be contained. So we're not going to let it out, but you know, it was useful around the site. Well, during a Global Occult Coalition raid of one of our facilities, they got a hold of the chair. And when they got a hold of the chair, they decided, in the interest of destroying anomalies, a wooden chair would fit very well within this handy-dandy wood chipper. Now, destroying the chair did not disable its anomalous ability. It did make it really cranky, though. And so SCP-1609, the chair, is now SCP-1609, the pile of splinters, that if you show up wearing a Global Occult Coalition uniform, then it will teleport into your lungs, and then you won't be breathing so good no more. And so we have a couple spare Global Occult Coalition uniforms, we put a D-class in it, we let them go in there instead. And so yes, the Dr. Clef, where I started this conversation, used to be an agent of them. And then had a torrid affair with a member of the forest, which shall remain nameless. Some of you on this pataphysical narrative level might know them as the Fae Folk, or the Shay. And that is where we got SCP-166, Clef's daughter. And Clef is a very sad man. A very sad man. A very sad, drunk, angry man. But he contains things real good, so we keep him around. Next question. Yes?
Doctor, in professional opinion, who is SCP-001?
In my professional opinion, what is SCP-001? So for those who are unfamiliar, on the SCP database, all of our anomalies are numbered. We've talked about a couple already. SCP-001 is special, though, because on the higher pataphysical narrative level above us, where the authors reside, the authors decided that no one author of SCP should be special enough to get the #1 slot. Obviously, that's the one everyone's going to read first. And so what they did instead is they made SCP-2 onward, and then SCP-1 is open to what are called the 001 proposals. Everyone on the site is welcome to write their own 001 proposal, and usually it's something that's either the first SCP that was ever found, or maybe it's a world-ending event, or such an important anomaly to Foundation operations that we made it the first one. And so, in universe, everyone's SCP-001s are proposals because we don't know which one's real. We're certainly not going to tell you which one's real. But there's over 30 to 50 to 75 001 proposals. And I don't actually have a high enough classification level to know which one's real, but I do know which one's my favorite. And that is SCP-001, codename Lily's proposal, The World's Gone Beautiful. One day, sometime in the future, we've studied other universes where this happens. We know pretty much how it's going to go down. You go outside one day, and the air outside is just perfect. Perfect weather to take off your jacket, just walk around, maybe go lie in the grass. Oh, why is the flowers blooming everywhere? It's so pretty. It's so nice out today. All of a sudden, everyone stopped doing crime. And the anomaly stopped trying to kill us, so we do like that. But all of this takes place exactly 24 hours before the end of the world. And you know what? At the end of the day, with all of the horrifying end of the worlds I've read about from other universes, I just like to go out in the nice one, please. That's why that one's my favorite. If the world's gonna end, give me the nice one. Next question. Yes.
Have you ever used 420J?
So, two conversations about this one. First of all, there are certain extra designations of SCPs besides the standard SCP number. Sometimes you get SCP-J, which means this is a joke article. Normally it's a meta joke, some sort of joke on the format, not meant to be a serious SCP. We have the -EXs, which are explained. Maybe we thought it was an anomaly, but it turned out not to be. Science proceeded and we found out it was natural. Maybe some researcher decided to make a fake SCP for a fraudulent project to waste Foundation resources. So either way, an explained SCP turned out not to actually be one. Now, if you look at the SCP database, you would expect the mean numbers to have something going on. But the funny thing about it is, SCP-420 is just an anomalous bottle of infinite whiskey that if you drink it, it gives you super skin cancer. SCP-69 is just some guy who, if you happen to die next to him, he turns into you and he tries to finish your unfinished business. Close your bank accounts, work out your will. He's just a nice guy like that. And then SCP-67, is just a fountain pen, an anomalous fountain pen, of course, that if you hold it, it takes over your arm and it either writes your entire life story, so accurately remembering things you don't even remember, or it makes you so good at drawing, man, it just draws so good, and it actually drew a thing that came to life one time. That's how we got SCP-085, a living fictional drawing called Hand-Drawn Cassie. Now, SCP-420-J, however, is exactly what you think it is. The most powerful blunt.
Oh, God.
That article is a joke about what we would do if we had such a thing, and what anomalies we would give it to see how they would react. It's pretty chill. It's good at parties. And that's all we have to say about that one. Next question. Ham.
So this is a question for the Irish. Is Margaret Thatcher an SCP?
Oh me, oh my. Actually, I do believe that Margaret Thatcher might actually be an SCP. Now, I don't remember the number right now, and I don't remember if I'm correct about this, but I'm just going to take a guess on it and tell you about this anyways. There is an anomaly on the SCP database that is an invisible entity that feeds on the concept of notoriety. And therefore, it's a parasitic entity that just attaches itself to whatever is most notorious at the time. The BIG excluded, apparently. But it did attach itself, I believe, to Margaret Thatcher. It did attach itself to several other notable people. And finally, it is currently residing in the concept of the YouTube video known as a Rickroll. And it's eating good. So, next question. You're next. Ears. Oh, we got plenty of time.
What is your opinion on 3008, like the infinite idea?
Ah, yes. Infinite IKEA, everyone's nightmare. First of all, for those uninformed, SCP-3008 is known as a perfectly normal, regular IKEA, we promise. But in actuality, SCP-3008 is one IKEA store in Redacted City, because we don't want you going there. And if you go in one door of this IKEA, the front door, meaning it doesn't work if you go in the back door, through a window, but if you go through this one single front door, which we keep heavily guarded, because again, we don't want you to go in there. If you go into this door, you will be dimensionally transported into the infinite IKEA space. And once you are inside about 30 paces, or more importantly, you lose track of eyesight of the door, then the door is going to teleport away. And you are stuck. Once you are in there, you will find survivor villages, because apparently this infinite IKEA dimension is a nexus of dimensions that can feed in from other timelines. We have met people who've told us different presidents existed, people who didn't know certain historical events. There's also the SCP-3008-2s. The -2s are faceless, Slender Man-looking characters, but some of them are really, really short, some of them are really, really tall, they have all sorts of weird proportions, and they're all wearing IKEA employee uniforms. And during the day shift, which is when the lights are on, they all just kind of walk around, all stupid-like. But when the lights go off, they become very, very mean. They will just walk around saying, "The store is closed. Please exit at this time." And then they will make you exit this mortal coil. But the meatballs are still good. They're still delicious. Next question. I can't see your face. I'm interested. I don't know what you are, but oh no. Level 5. Okay. Which branch of the SCP Foundation should be defunded? If I wanted to remove funds from a single iteration, a branch or a department of the SCP Foundation due to budget cuts, number 1, not Site 42. Our budget is already bad enough. I'm going to say Site 17. Site 17 made me very angry 8 years ago-ish, and then again a couple of years ago. You see, SCP-5004 is SCP-5004 itself is a demon named Old Gorman that was summoned in the 1800s, and it was stashed underneath the United States Capitol. And this demon was there to feed on the negative energy that takes place in the United States Capitol. It's not a happy place. And so this demon is just underground, feeding, growing bigger and bigger. And in order to stop this from blowing up, both blowing our cover and letting people know the anomalous exists, and also blowing up the United States Capitol, we had to do something, and we had to do something fast. And what the team at Site 17, which I will point out is the most well-known SCP site, or one of them, with most of the famous characters you've heard about, like Dr. Clef, Site 17 decided to install what is called a reality sink. Now, a reality sink is a human being, just like any of you, except they have an anti-anomalous ability. They essentially nullify all anomalies that are nearby them. Now, as you can imagine, this is a very useful ability. In fact, Dr. Alto Clef is very useful because he has that ability. It's good that he works for us. But for most people, not Alto Clef aside, being a reality bender is really bad for your mental health. It makes you incredibly dumb. It makes you really selfish. Just anything that you could say bad about a person, being a reality sink kind of deteriorates your mind into that. And we had to make it President of the United States. So it would be around the Capitol to suck up the magic so that demon wouldn't explode. I am being 100% serious when I tell you that SCP-5004-B, the containment procedures for the demon in the Capitol, is President Donald John Trump. And so yes, defund Site 17, that was a terrible idea, I hate it. Next question. You there.
I don't know the name of the SCP off the top of my head, but what's
that dispenses anything to type in?
I got you covered. SCP-294 is a very useful anomaly the Foundation contains. It is just codenamed the vending machine. And it is a standard-looking coffee vending machine, but it has a little keypad. And you can type anything into the keypad. What do you want to drink? It has it. If you ask for the perfect beverage, you will live in existential dread for the rest of your life because you had the perfect drink and now nothing's going to measure up anymore. So you got to be really careful with concepts. But for me, if I'm going to get the perfect drink, it's funny, I don't need SCP-294 anymore because I just discovered a different thing that dispenses the drink I would ask for. We had a Foundation researcher called Zachariah Wilson, I believe his name is, and after he moved out of sight, we started renovating the sublevel he worked on and we found a secret room. This guy had a secret room in our secret site. That's double secret, that's not allowed. And so, inside his secret room we find this giant wall-sized computer terminal. And it just says, The Witch. Witch, that sounds terrifying. And we study this machine we find in a secret room in our secret place. And it is just a normal old school 1950s computer, except for the parts that are a human brain and nervous system attached to it. And when we turned this thing on, it started shaking the entire place. We thought we were gonna die. The D-class nearly had a panic attack. But then it just stopped. And it dispensed the perfect cup of tea. He used the body of a dead reality vendor to make the perfect cup of tea machine. So I don't need the vending machine anymore. We got it covered. Next question. You there, in the handsome vest.
Thank you so much. So I've heard conflicting things about this, but who actually has more power, the O5 Council or the Ethics Committee?
Are you trying to get me black-bagged? The SCP Foundation is run in totality by the Overseer Council, otherwise known as the O5, even though there are 13 of them. I kid, it's because they are level 5 classification level. I, a site director, am level 4, and would never take that gig. It sounds like too much pressure. The Overseers run daily, they run the major overarching operations, while we site directors run the daily. But of course, there's somebody who's got to be reining in our tendency to do horrible things in the name of good, and that is the Ethics Committee. And depending on which timeline you are in, the amount of assassinations and back and forth between the Overseers and the Ethics Committee is a really heated scenario, and I want no part of it. I think they're both peachy keen. Don't hurt me. Yes.
Do you have any recommendations for containing indestructible artifacts that corrupt all those who are close to it?
That what?
That corrupt all those who are close to it. There's around 18, 19 of them running around Japan right now. As a heads up to the Foundation.
Okay, my question for any sort of corrupting artifact that corrupts whoever has it. Does it corrupt people from a distance, or do they actually have to be holding it? Or eating it mostly? Put it in a box and bury it under the floor. Concrete. Lock it down, don't tell anyone where it is, and leave it there. We delete all of the information. There's one SCP document on our site that is another anomalous chair, coincidentally. If I had 2 nickels. This anomalous chair, the document reads as, okay, this chair, it's anomalous, it's more comfortable than other chairs, enjoy yourself. And then you find at the bottom, if you maybe nicked an Overseer's passcode that day, there's a secondary document. Apparently 054 is keeping the secret of this world-ending, crazy, powerful entity that only can do what it does because people know and believe it. And so, if you instead lock it in a fake document so no one knows where it is and what it is, and you just leave it there with one guy making sure to keep guard of it, job's done. Put it in a box, don't tell anyone where the box is, except the one guy you can trust to do it. And if you can't trust him for long enough, kill him and assign a new guy. You!
Thoughts on House of the Worm?
I actually don't know what House of the Worm is.
It's SCP-1461.
1461. I apologize. Although I've been keeping tabs of the SCP Foundation for 13 years now, there is still too many stories for any one person to know them all. And House of the Worm is outside of my research specifications. I apologize. You!
There are a couple of SCPs that deal with the Foundation encountering new civilizations, both terrestrial and extraterrestrial. I'm curious if there's a standing policy of what the Foundation would allow as a first contact or reveal the existence of this without it being like a broken masquerade situation.
Okay, so first and foremost, aliens, even if they actually exist, even if they are scientifically non-anomalous because they're just out there, different biologies, because general consensus civilization right now does not say aliens exist, we keep aliens hidden. There are aliens, we're just not going to tell anybody. That's how we handle most things. A lot of people also ask us, how do you decide what's anomalous and what's not? We make that choice. No one else gets a say in it. We pick. So when it comes to aliens, if we can keep them contained, we're going to keep them contained. We have SCP-2020, I believe it is a standard gray alien, like Area 51 gray alien, and he just sits back in our facility pitching ideas for movies. And then he gets really sad because at the end he just says, no, that's pretty cliche, right? He also knows a lot about SCPs and keeps pitching us different SCP documents as movies. We don't know where he got that information. It's very disturbing. But there is a time when the aliens were not able to be contained by us, especially if you were a Project Hail Mary fan. You might be interested in SCP-7999. SCP-7999 was an anomalous event in which place the wormhole in the sky opens up visible to everybody. So we could not contain the knowledge of that, unfortunately. And through that wormhole, the planets of the Cartekans was visible. And some Cartekans came to Earth, and they were about yay high, praying mantis people. They're very nice. Their planet was in danger, and we helped them to not die. One of them went out with one of our staff members and danced Argentine tango in Paris for some reason. They were very cute. And so SCP-7999 is very wholesome and alien-related if you want to go down that route. Next question. I'm going to go for the child. Hello.
Can you tell me about SCP-137?
SCP-137, are you talking about the sculpture? Okay, that's 173 next time. 173. That's all right. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to educate you about the SCP Foundation. SCP-173 is the most notable SCP in existence because it is the first SCP ever written. The SCP Foundation fandom started in 2007 in the bowels of the internet known as 4chan. During the creepypasta era, SCP-173 was just a random creepypasta. And then some people thought it was cool and hey, this says 173. Are there more? What are they? And so the entire 19-year-old SCP Foundation fandom, God, our fandom's gonna be able to drink in a couple years, sprung up from this singular anomaly, which is a sculpture. And this sculpture, this article was actually written about 1 month after the Doctor Who episode about the Weeping Angels. So you might see where this is going. SCP-173 is a statue that, if you keep direct eye line on it, it doesn't move. But as soon as you blink, it can move real fast. And there's nothing more it likes than snapping necks. And so, normally you think, okay, it's a statue, blinking, it'll kill you, so just put it in a box. Unfortunately for us, the blink and it'll move is the most famous anomalous ability of the statue, but it's not the only one. The one that everyone seems to forget is that SCP-173, somehow, we haven't figured it out how it does it yet, excretes approximately 37.5 pounds of a mixture of blood and feces every single day.
It makes a bloody mess to clean up.
It makes a bloody mess to clean up. And so, my intrepid D class here, and 2 of his friends are sent in with mops. And their job is to clean the floors and to say when they are blinking, so no more than 2 of them blink at the same time.
Blinking!
And sometimes they fail and we have to get new D-class. But he's done great! Give him a hand for surviving! Yay! Also, there is one parallel universe that we don't like very much, because in that universe, we opened the containment cell for 173 one day and we found 2 173s. And then later on it became 4, and then 8, and then eventually they took over the world. It was a bad timeline. SCP Revised Entry is the name of that one. Next question. You there.
Due to the nature of your research, would your researchers require an MD or a PhD?
Ah, great question. So, ¿por qué no los dos? Both is good. We need medical doctors for all of the injuries and deaths. We also need PhDs in every subject under the sun. I have a side hustle. My cover job as a ballroom dancing instructor makes me a perfect candidate to, for instance, work on SCP-3688, which is a kinetoglyph, otherwise known as a series of movements that, when performed properly, cause anomalies to happen. You see, not every anomaly is inherent to a person. Some anomalies are knowledge. You can learn to do anomalies. You can perform thaumaturgy, which is magic rituals, or kinetoglyphs, which are essentially magic dance moves. The safety dance, SCP-3688, is a particular kinetoglyph that, when learned, makes the dancer completely invulnerable as long as they keep dancing. And so it's important to work on your cardio. But all of this to say, it is important to have experts from every field. And what more, while we do our best to hire the best of the best of the best, we also lose a lot of people. You remember earlier when I said the Global Occult Coalition would love it if we just destroyed these anomalies and be done with it? There are a lot of people that think they're the good guys in our universe, because at least they are trying to reduce casualties. We will keep very dangerous anomalies very not destroyed. Because, what's a couple D-class? What's a couple researchers? When science is at hand. There's no use crying when there's science to do, right? And so we will continue to test on these even if it kills our staff members, which means we've had to lower admission standards. And so there is definitely an in-house education system where one can speed run a couple PhDs, the legitimacy of which does not work outside the Foundation. Yes, D-Class Eric.
Heater duty is real, D-class lives matter, and you got 10 minutes left before you gotta vacate the premise, so.
Thank you very much for the notice. Ignore everything else he said. All right, I'm coming over here. All right, you first. Oh! Oh my gosh. I am beautiful. All right, hello.
What's your thoughts on putting anomalies in a museum, like the Mystical Museum of Mystery, Morbidity, and Mortality? That the podcast I recommended to you.
Okay, cool, an SCP-like podcast. Excellent recommendation. Do normal people get to go to this museum?
But it's contained. Everyone's contained. It's security.
Then no. Now, I will tell you this. There is one place in which that would work. Sometimes there is what is called a broken masquerade scenario. The broken masquerade or the lifted veil scenario is the worst case scenario for us at the SCP Foundation, which is something happens that makes it undeniable to the public that anomalies are real. For instance, I told you about SCP-7999. Giant wormhole in the sky? Yeah, we can't cover that up. That's a broken masquerade. So now everyone in the public knows about anomalies, and they're scared, and they're worried. So that's when the SCP Foundation has to stand up, reveal ourselves to the world, and say, don't worry about it, we got this. Don't worry about the torture, don't worry about the casualties, we got this, believe in us, we'll take care of the things that go bump in the night, please don't persecute us for our crimes. And so in the broken masquerade scenarios, the most famous of which is the time that North Korea just kind of disappeared. It came back eventually. So yes, in that one we had to hire a PR team, we had to do a whole rigmarole, but we did get to open up an SCP Foundation theme park. And then the mascots went and killed everybody. You know, it's an indie game all over again. Yes.
How do you feel about Dr. Entertainment Industries and the fact that there are people out there making new anomalies?
Everybody who makes anomalies is my enemy. Because every time you make anomalies, I have to contain that anomaly. And that means I have to hire more people and resources. It costs money. My budget's already getting slashed. No, if you make anomalies like Dr. Entertainment, who makes anomalous toys. Sometimes the toys do murder. Sometimes they're nice. It's a 50-50 shot with Dr. Entertainment. Or Dedo. Dedo is a parapharmacologist. Dedo makes anomalous drugs. Sometimes it is Hair Club by Dedo, a medicine shampoo that gives cancer children little bunny rabbits that come out of their cancer bald heads so that they can have very fun little hair to play with. Sometimes it is the banana equivalent dose. An assassin contracted with Dedo to get some plutonium to do a murder, and Dedo said, no, plutonium too easy to trace. I give you bananas. What? Yes, bananas radioactive. You're going to be fine. Give him pill, he get banana radiation, he kill him. The banana pill, the equivalent of killing someone with plutonium versus bananas, is approximately 5 million kilograms of bananas, which automatically start to grow in your stomach as soon as you take the banana pill. We tested that on a D class. The whole site filled with bananas. It spilled out into the lawn. It was very messy. Everyone died. So yes, anyone who makes anomalies, they are my enemy. Dr. McNinja.
Do you think there will be an attempt to revive or at least make a successor to the Pandora Force project, the one that weaponized SCP-076-2?
Oh, everyone's pretty boy, fight boy. SCP-076-2 is called Abel. And Abel is, you know, like the Bible. Abel is a very angry boy. And it comes out of the immortal sarcophagus with summoning Vorpal Blade abilities and tries to kill everyone around, because again, very grumpy boy. And you can kill Abel, and he'll respawn in the casket and do it again. It's very cost intensive to contain that anomaly. But someone had the bright idea to put it and several other anomalies as a mobile task force, our agents who go into the field to try and stop them. And we actually did, in fact, start a new group. It's Alpha something. I think they're called Last Hope. And so if you want more, anomalous task force, you go for Alpha whatever Last Hope now. They are another new version of that, so you got that. Green.
Theoretically, if someone in a green and yellow sweater were making anomalies, is that a yay or nay? Like, are you fine with that? Can they keep doing that?
What part of don't make anomalies did you not understand?
What if it's fun though?
I don't care if it's fun.
One more?
Don't you make little dark worlds that bring things to life? Keep it in your room so we don't know about it.
But don't you kind of need anomalies? You'd be out of a job if they didn't exist.
We did have a universe in a tale called Quiet Days. So I've been telling you about the SCP documents, which are the bread and butter of the SCP universe. You read all of our little technical documents about how we contain it, what happened and why. Then there is the, the tales. The tales are general stories about the SCP universe. So there's over 10,000 SCPs in English. There's another 10,000 tales. And the tales, one of them is called Quiet Days. And Quiet Days is a universe where one day, we don't know why, just all the anomalies stopped anomalying. The statue stopped trying to kill us, and it stopped pooping. I was very fond that it stopped doing that. The hard to destroy reptile was destroyed. All the anomalies just quit. And yeah, it was a little depressing. We all lost our jobs. There's a lot less science to do in that world, so yes. Although I appreciate anomalies for existing because we have work to do, it's balance. It's all about balance. Don't do it right now. All right, I've got time for like 2 more questions. I'm going over to this corner.
What is the Foundation doing about the hate scheme?
This is another ancient group of interest and demigods and horrible things. All we can do is contain the certain artifacts of them to make sure no one finds them. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, there was actually a 90s sitcom that turned out to be an accidental new version of the Hanging King's tragedy. It's called A Prince Among Men. If you search SCP, A Prince Among Men, it's a fairly long article, but it's a good one. And all of a sudden, about halfway through, you start to go, oh no. Oh no, is this what I think it is? And it was. You!
Have you ever been into 860? Would you like to?
No and no. That's dangerous. Going into any anomaly is dangerous. I prefer being in the lab, safe. In fact, I don't go in the lab with the anomalies. I let the D class do it.
2 weeks away from retirement. Woo! I'm gonna make it.
Retirement.
Are you?
Okay, who had a handover? You had a
I
handover.
don't get to retire.
What would the Foundation do to contain the flood from Halo?
There's a lot of world-ending threats that we just don't have the capability of containing. For instance, there's SCP-001 proposal, SD Locke's proposal called When Day Breaks. In that universe, the sun just kind of turned into a deadly laser. It melted all living things into flesh monsters. Everyone became Cronenbergs. And if you were not outside, then the Cronenbergs would come in and try to drag you out so you would become Cronenbergs. We're very limited in scope. There's only so much we can do. All right, Site 42 staff, as well as those of you from Greater SCP Foundation, this is the end of today's panel, but there will be another one tomorrow at 5, so I know more of you have questions, and I have the opportunity tomorrow to do this again, so I hope to see you there, back in the same room. However, I and Eric will be outside of the room just for pictures and autographs and merch and stuff like that for a minute. So I thank you all, staff, for this successful briefing, and I will see you again for tomorrow's briefing. As always, secure, contain, protect. I hope you learned something. I hope you learned something and you behaved yourself. Right? No, you're fine. Them. I know they were being terrible. What did you do? What did you do? Des says you were good? No, Des says Des was good.
They come to make fun of your shorts, Dr. Sher.
My shorts are great. My legs are amazing. Strong dance move legs. Okay. Yes, and I'm very pretty. All right. I've got to let you guys go. I will see you guys tomorrow. So, secure, contain, protect. Be safe, be well, chat.